Hello friends and welcome to another replay analysis. I am pretty excited about this one. This is our highest MMR replay. This is a Divine 3 Winter Wyvern, position 5. Technically we did a Why Did I Lose? That was a higher MMR for Gibbs on Earth Spirit, but this is like a full replay analysis. So highest one, I think it'll be helpful for everyone. So I'm pretty happy. Before we start, let me say a couple things. I spent a decent amount of time in the Divine bracket where it felt like I was playing pretty well, but then it's like, oh, my cores suck, all of that. And I spent a while there. And then when I eventually decided, like, I'm gonna get to Immortal, I want to make videos, and I wanna feel like, being Immortal kind of gave me like this level of like proof that I knew what I was talking about. So I made the guide, focused on some stuff I needed to improve on, and then it was a breeze to climb through the Divine bracket. It was actually so easy after I focused on a couple different things. Now, I'm sure there are different approaches to how to get through the Divine bracket, because, I mean, a lot of people want to get from Divine to Immortal. You're pretty close at that point. And you're a Divine 3, so, like, you're halfway there. So I'm sure there are other approaches, but this is what worked for me, so this is what I can share with you. I want you to think about two things as we go through this whole replay analysis. One, your laning. And we're going to emphasize that for the next... I'm going to say it's 10 minutes of laning, so we'll say like 30 minutes, I bet. But laning is so easy once you get this pattern down in Divine, because many position 4s, they like don't do what they need to do. And so as a position 5, if you can establish a good routine, then it's pretty easy. And your carries at this point are good enough that they can make use of a relatively free lane. I know your timings are pretty good. I see you do a lot of pulls, and I see you get the runes on time. Like, that aspect, mechanically, your item build's fine, your skill build, all that, that's good. But we're still going to nitpick some stuff, especially about pulls. Right now, you do, like, full, small pulls every single time. Maybe it's just this game. I don't know. I can only base it off this game. But I'm going to have you think about doing half pulls and how that made it so easy for me to win a lot of lanes. And the second thing is that many Divine players get to this level just by being good as an individual player. They understand their hero, their item builds, stuff like that, some of their own matchups. And when you put them in a situation, they like sort of know what to do. And I can see that from this game. Your spell usage in team fights is pretty solid. Your itemization, not just like the early lane, but like later your items are fine for the most part. But many Divine players don't think about what their team needs and how not only your own heroes like items and skill build affects your team, but then how like map movements affect. And that's the impression I get from this game. And so I want to try to highlight that as we go. To start thinking, like to get from Divine to Immortal, I think it's really important to start thinking about like, what am I doing and how does it make my carry's life easier or harder? And if you don't realize that, then at some point you think like, oh, my carries are bad, but actually like you are having an impact on what your carries can do. So I'm gonna start trying to highlight that for you here. And there are several ways that can come into play, but that is like the two overarching themes. So with that, let's get into it. I think your item build is fine. I myself am scared to do like a single tango start, but I see enough people to do it that I know it works if you're a bit careful with it. And I mean, I don't play enough Wyvern to really critique you too much on it. I think this is fine overall. Now you're probably against the Centaur and Rubik, so not too horrible of a lane, but it can be a little annoying for PA. But she has her dagger, so she should be fine. All right, so lane starts. Let's get going. PA took a bit of damage. She had to use herself, so we are aware we're a little low on resources. I do think maybe you could be helping with the denies a little bit at the start. Right now, you're just taking like 3 free auto attacks. Never ideal. So your lane is pushing a bit because of how the lane played out. Choose to block the hard camp. I don't mind this decision. I think it's interesting you get a second salve. I actually don't really have a complaint with it. This is something I've thought about, but I haven't tested too much myself. And And part of me thinks it's okay because Rubik and Centaur, they are kind of like a burst. It doesn't seem like it, but they're kind of a burst lineup where he builds up his retaliate stacks, and then finally they like double stun, pop retaliate, hit you, and they're trying to kill you in that moment. And then if you survive, you can heal up the whole way. So I don't really have an issue with the salve. But let's talk about this first pull. So I do think it's good you're thinking about a pull because we saw 2 creeps from your first wave survive, and if we take a look over here, like this is going to push a little bit. You have a kobold camp, pretty unfortunate for you. And what you end up doing is a full pull. And I personally do not like this. You're never... I mean, there's 2 schools of thought on this. So one is that you do this full pull. It's going to shove the lane. And then when the camp respawns at 2 minutes, you can pull again. And this time it's a lot less contested because the lane is all the way up here. So the support and the offlaner, they're more likely to be up here. And then you pull all that jazz. The plus side of this is that the lane, as we can see, is about to push under the tower. And a good carry should get all those last hits. And at Divine, you know, I would expect my carry to get most of those last hits. And as long as the enemy isn't some, like, diving level 1 combo, then you should be fine. This is good when you have, like, a really weak safe laner who needs to get a couple last hits at the start. Who's someone that comes to mind? Someone like Morphling, maybe, who after Morphling gets, like, level 2, level 3, he's very safe, and it's very hard to kill him. But in that first level, he is a bit at risk. And so getting the creeps to go under tower, giving him some secure farm, and then when it pushes out, it's not such a big deal. I don't like it so much in many cases, though, because at most, you get 1 creep denied usually. Even with other camps, like maybe you get 2 creeps denied. But oftentimes it's like 1 creep because you have 4 creeps here and they're doing damage. With a kobold, nothing here is going to die. This creep wave is barely going to take any damage. It's going to push extremely heavily. And PA with her dagger, she can actually last it okay while on her own, especially if the lane is like not too far out. So I think a half pull is really good. And with a kobold camp, sometimes you can even just pull the range creep and make sure it dies. And then you have 2 choices. So you pull 2 creeps, this whole camp will die. It'll respawn at 2 minutes. Honestly, these 2 creeps will probably live. But it's not such a big deal because these 2 creeps will have ran through first, died to all of these creeps, and then your next 2 creeps will run in, and then they will hopefully die to this camp as well. And it doesn't push the wave. All the creeps die, and they die because only 2 are entering the lane at a time, and this is just a way to delay the timing. Because if you have 4 creeps versus 4 creeps, it stalls out. But if you have 2 versus 4, the 4 wins and pushes in a little bit, and then the next 2 arrive, and it just like stalls a little bit, and then they still lose. If you just pull the range creep, this camp will probably survive or die. It kind of depends where the range creep stops moving. Sometimes it can kill the entire camp by itself and live, and other times it will die. If the range creep dies, that's fine. Stack this camp at 2 minutes. You now have a stacked camp. These guys will serve as meat shields pretty much for the next camp that will do damage to actual creeps, and that will let you do actual pulls. Or this whole camp dies. 2 minutes, it respawns, that's fine. The range creep walks back to lane. You're still fine because the range creep was gone, so even if 3 melee creeps are here versus 4 creeps, that stalls out longer, but without a range creep, you still lose. It pushes into you, the range creep walks in, then it dies. Let's actually go back in time a bit. Let's imagine you didn't do this pull. The 2 melee creeps right here, let's say you did a half pull. So you're only going to aggro these 2 creeps. So these 2 creeps keep walking by. They're like here, 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 here. PA right now, when the creeps are here, she should know, let me body block this creep right out here so that the creeps meet right here. This is extremely safe for PA, right? She's not going to get dove under tower, level 1, Centaur and Rubik. Not going to happen. You know that you body block this, so it's not like he can do any kind of pulls for the next wave. The creeps meeting right here is very safe, even in a 2v1 lane. Not only because she has dagger, but just because of this tower. It's very safe. The fact that it walks under tower means that this whole creep wave is going to die. And your whole creep wave is going to live because of this. The part of the reason why this looks better than I think it should have is what you see right here. One creep walks to Rubik, and one creep walks to Centaur. If this hadn't happened, I think your laning would have been far more difficult this game. I think this is coincidentally, it worked out for you, and I want you to be aware of that. That your choice to do a full pull with this Kobold camp, I think it should not have worked out. I think it should have heavily pushed your lane and then made it very difficult to play the game. Or at least the rest of the lane, unless they make mistakes. But it kind of gets saved by this. So what you're going to see, right, she ends up walking out here, so she pulls the creeps back out of the tower where they otherwise should have died. These 2 creeps now kill this range creep. 4 creeps kill 1 melee creep. So we were talking about how, you know, obviously it's a game of numbers. When there are 4 creeps versus 2 creeps, the 4 creeps win. So you were supposed to have 8 creeps altogether. Technically 4, and then 4 very close behind. And that kills any wave that comes in. But because you save 2 creeps, kills the range creep, that's the one that pushes. These 4 kill that 1 creep. Now they're going to kill these 2 creeps. Now you end up with a 5 versus 4 lane. And this is not nearly as bad as like an 8 versus 4 lane. And it looks like it's sort of working. And she's even dragging 1 more in. So technically it's a 5 versus 5. And she has 1 creep on the range. And now you're going to do another pull. This, I think, in other situations, would be pushing heavily into their tower, guaranteeing that the enemy gets like 2 full waves. Whereas if you did a half pull, I think the lane would still be balanced around here. And with any camp besides a Kobold camp, you would have denied at least 2 creeps. Right now, they haven't missed any experience. With the Kobold camp, it is hard to get anything denied to them, but it at least keeps the lane very close to here, and it gets you some experience from this camp. And hopefully, you know, you get something denied off. So now here, this is a camp that can definitely be used to half pull, but you choose to do a full pull. Let's take a look at the lane. What's happening? This is going to push fairly heavily into your lane, isn't it? Because look how many creeps they have. They have two range creeps alive, although this one could be denied, and that might happen. I don't quite remember. And you only have 2 melee creeps here. So these 3 creeps are not going to survive very long versus this amount of creeps, enemy creeps, and it's going to push really quickly into this tower. This camp cannot kill your entire creep wave. I highly doubt PA knows that she should either tank the creep wave out here, pull it through back here, or maybe pull it through the tower all the way here. Many carries end up just farming the creep wave under tower. And that results in the enemy creep wave dying, and yours still being alive, and it joins up with the next creep wave that spawns, which creates like a wave of 6 versus the next wave of 4. And going back to the fact it's all a game of numbers, that's going to push your lane again. And it's always going to push. And that's kind of the theme of this lane. Because you keep doing full pulls, the lane keeps swinging back and forth. Sometimes that's okay. But that is okay in games where you should have a very hard time playing the lane. You have a very fragile carry, and the only way they can get last hits and be safe is either under their tower or when they have a massive creep advantage and the enemy can't really contest, and they're just like, okay, we'll just get experience here. And because of the way you rubber band the wave, you end up equal. Like, both sides get a lot of XP and last hits, but that's good for you because you were supposed to lose the lane in a normal lane. So it's like, it's good to rubber band. But in this game, I don't think that needs to happen. And frankly, Divine players are not good enough to abuse matchups they should win. And you can win a lot of matchups you're not supposed to by doing these like half pulls and getting creeps denied by themselves and keeping the wave right here. So here, this gets full pulled. And again, you're getting like a little fortunate with like, they're being weird, right? The offlaner is chasing a courier. He's not playing the lane. He's not bullying out your PA. I think you save this courier by slowing him right here. So we see one died. This guy's not going to kill anyone else. Your positioning here, though, is pretty risky. If we switch back to just your perspective, or I'm sorry, your team's perspective, watch the minimap. So you know Centaur's on your left here, and I can see Rubik. And you know the creep wave is now under your tower, which means Rubik has nothing to do because Divine players are not very good at chasing under tower and harassing. They get scared of that, so they just leave the tower. And so even if you didn't quite see Rubik walk this way, you should know that there's nothing else for him to do because you body blocked this earlier, twice, I think. I don't see it spawned here. And Centaur knows you're here. They know you're pulling because Centaur walked right through chasing a courier. So they're going to come over here. And I think it would have been safer for you to, once you see him go this way and you like stand here, you can get the last hit here. And then you either should like walk this way or right now you need to leave. But you're kind of like staying for last hits, even though I know that it's kind of risky right now. And like Rubik's here and you end up, I don't mind you trying to TP out here. You probably should have known that, this guy has a way to cancel your TP, right? It's very unlikely he takes Arcane Supremacy level 2. So once he stuns and this guy doesn't lift, I kind of know I'm dead if I'm you. And I might... You have two choices. You either just trade with him to get some damage in, or like walk away a bit. You may not have realized he was level 2. That's fair. If you still thought you could get out, though, instead of TPing home, I think you should TP to tier 2 or tier 1. Because you have 2 salves, you know, you'll TP right here, you'll salve up, you're pretty much ready to lane again. And if you TP right here, it's only about 10 seconds back to the lane. If you TP all the way here, even if this succeeds, you're going to get home, you're going to heal up, and it's going to take you about 40 seconds to walk all the way home. A little less because you have a windlace. But still quite a lot because you are a bit of a slow hero. So probably like 30, 35 seconds. The lane is going to push. Right? Let's say you survive, you TP home. You got 2 creeps here, 4 here, 1 range creep here. These are going to die to the tower. Maybe they kill this range creep. You're still going to have 6 creeps, or 5 creeps. No, 6 creeps, sorry. Math. Ugh. And they're going to push. And PA is going to be in a solo lane versus Centaur and a Rubik, who are equal level to her. Okay, actually she's a higher level a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. They are still plenty strong at level 2 because there's 2 of them. And it's going to be tough for her for the next wave or 2 because you aren't here. But if you TP'd to like one of these 2 towers, you would be able to salve and then continue helping out in the lane. Unfortunately for you, he just kills these instead of like pulling them back into the lane. But this is under the tower, so this will push. And now you don't have a teleport to get back. Let's take a... You started walking a couple seconds ago. We'll say 310. Let's see when you get back here.
The radiant glyph is now active.
No idea how this happens, by the way. I'm absolutely flabbergasted. I don't know, like, all of the attacks hit her, and then she walks over here, and then these creeps randomly aggro this way. I have no idea. This kind of saves you guys a bit. It makes your death not so bad, because this creep should have been killed off pretty quickly by 2 range creeps, and keeping the lane equilibrium here. Because it gets distracted like this, even though they're going to get the XP for these creeps, I think, it results in this wave not taking too much damage, which is extremely fortunate. No idea how it happened. And because, like, again, see, Centaur's, like, not taking advantage of the fact you're not here. He's, like, not coming over here and bullying her out. He's just, like, sitting here and farming and letting her do this. Like, possibly deny 2 range creeps and get a large camp. Like, Divine players are really not good about this kind of stuff. You now get back here. We said 310, so it took about 35 seconds to get here. And, yeah. But look at that. Your timing, pretty good. Like, you're getting a pull every time, and that's really nice. But I want them to be half pulls. At least experiment with it. Try it out. If you need more information on it, we did do a hard support guide on pulling. And then trademark soon. I am going to release something very much focused on just identifying when it is good to do a pull or not, and what kind of pull. But no promises. I don't know when that's going to be out, but I think that will be very good. But watch both, maybe. But in the hard support guide about pulling, we being me, I tried to emphasize like the effects of all these different pulls and why I thought half pulling was good. So if you haven't watched that, that might help you. But like right here, this to me, this camp, every camp besides the kobold camp is these 2 creeps denied. The enemy not getting 2 entire creeps, half the creep wave completely denied. That's like getting 4 denies in a normal laning stage, and that's crazy. Can you imagine being able to get 4 denies? But instead, when you pull like the whole wave, like look, we're gonna rubber band again. It's gonna shoot all the way into the tower. How many creeps are gonna die? 1's dead. And I think Rubik even kind of made it for the XP. So we get 1 denied. And then, see, this keeps happening where they randomly aggro creeps and really help to prevent how bad this could have been. But like, see, we would have had 3 creeps right here. And we would have had 7 creeps now with 2 ranged creeps. And it's very difficult to control that when you have only 4 enemy creeps walking in. Like, you've seen how bad they haven't done a single pull. You blocked some of the camps, but they've had chances to like pull if they like push this further, and then you were dead, so they could have pulled and denied stuff. They're not doing it. Divine players are not. I know I'm insulting you too with this, but like divine players are not so good about thinking about pulls and denying XP. They have been told that supports are supposed to pull. They know it's something good to do, but the next level is to like really understand, like, this pull denies whatever. It affects the lane this way. Like, really understanding this, I think that's one of my strong points as a player. I like to brag about myself. But for me, I can judge in a lane like, oh, I've denied like 4 creeps from them. We're winning, you know? And I think it's a lot easier to do that when you're doing these half pulls, because you can half pull and then go play the lane, and you know for a fact those 2 creeps are going to die. And I know your mechanics are good, your sense of timing, that if you need to adjust it to like half pull now and then stack, like I know you can do it. Like, this is good. Like, you get out of sight, you salve up, you help her out. I know your mechanics are pretty solid with all this. Check it out, you like salve her in time when she blurs to help save her life. Like, all of that is pretty good. And then again, this was pretty good. You guys played aggressively here, and now a lot of these creeps are going to die off. This is bad on Rubik. Rubik's looking for the kill, but the kill is worth less than these creeps. For all you guys out there who would also hunt for creeps, especially if you're not divine and you're like, oh, I want the kill, this is not worth it. Killing this PA right now, even if she didn't get salved up and she was really low, it's not worth losing this amount of creeps. 3 range creeps, 2 melee, and what would have been like 2 other melee if they weren't chasing Rubik. That is a ton of gold, far more than a kill is worth. Unless she's on like some crazy killing spree. But she's not. The game is 1 and 3. Let's go back to your perspective. Yeah, sounds about right. 23 minutes in, 5 minutes of the game. That's okay. This is what I want you to be good at this. This is, to me, very abusable if you can be good at this. And it was. I still win a lot of my lanes as a hard support because I have a really good understanding of pulls. And if you can get that in, then I think like it's very easy to get to Immortal just by doing good pulls. And carry players are good enough at this level that if you just give them a huge lead, they win more games than they lose. So if you can make this a good habit, I think it'll be great. I like this. You guys get a kill on Centaur. He is playing aggressively by himself when you guys had a lot of creeps. I think you should keep pursuing. I know you may not have communicated that with PA, but I do think that was a kill, and I know Rubik is not here because we can see him on the minimap. You have forgotten to put your stick in, but I mean, that's a minor thing. It happens. I think this heal is good. This is okay, by the way, this is a time where we can start thinking about leaving the lane. You just got a kill for PA. She's now level 6. Centaur is level 4. You've established your lead. And if you think about, so let's start thinking about the overall sense of the game, right? PA is level 6. What does that mean? She's pretty strong in the lane because she can just throw out daggers, randomly crit, and suddenly she's in a really good spot. It's really cheap for her to do that. Great. She can also head to the jungle if she needs to. If she gets, if like 2 or 3 people enter her lane and she doesn't feel safe, she can hit up Blur and just crit creeps and start killing them off. She has a Magnus on her team. When you have a Magnus and PA, this is a, classic combo. Magnus is going to empower her, and she's going to speed up in farm after that. What that means, we need to establish a safe place for PA to farm. It needs to be sort of near where Magnus is so that he can keep empowering her. But we need to be able to leave her there so that she can farm up quickly ramp up. And if you look at the overarching draft, you are very good against Chaos Knight, their carry. She, with Empower, is also pretty solid against illusions. That Seth, Magnus, all good against CK to some extent. So I'm not that worried about their carry so long as he is not out of control. What does that mean? I need my carry to be doing equal or better than their carry. How can I accomplish both of those at one time? I know that PA will ramp up once she gets Empower and the time to farm. That means I should go to their offlane. Let's switch to free cam. I should go to their offlane where I am strong against CK. Your hero is very good against CK. He's a strength hero, so Arctic Burn does a lot. Splinter Blast hits him and all his illusions. He's not 6 yet, but it will. Cold Embrace. This guy has some magic damage from Chaos Bolt, but he tends to use it when he initiates, right? He Reality Rifts, Chaos Bolt, and then he's straight physical damage. Maybe he even ults, and then he hits the guy he's stunned. And you just cancel all of that. Your hero is so good against this guy. And when you get an ult, he kills his support that he's next to or something. Are you that good against, let's say Rubik was still bottom. Are you that good against Centaur and Rubik? Yeah, they do some right click. I don't know why I said that so weird. Yeah. And I forgot, Retaliate doesn't even pop anymore. So forget what I said earlier about that. There's still a burst lineup because Double Edge and Hoof Stomp. I forgot he doesn't get the damage from this anymore. Which even is now more so the case. This is magic, this is magic. You try to use your Cold Embrace on PA to save her, and they're going to Fade Bolt and Double Edge and kill her anyways. So you're not so good in that lane, but you're really good up here. And if you can pressure this out, even taking this tower, this becomes the safe space. Now Magnus can play aggressively in their jungle and in their mid lane, and PA will farm the lane, farm the jungle when she gets pressured out, and she's in close proximity to Magnus to quickly get empowered and then run back to whatever she's doing. And if you've taken this top tower, CK's not going to be here. He's going to go somewhere else, and he's not really a hero that's great at doing Ancients. But PA with Empower and Blur, she's awesome at it. So it's really important to come get this. And that means if we leave her now, even if she doesn't do that great because they pressure her a little bit, but we can quickly take this tower, it's fine. She'll catch up. She's far faster at farming than a CK, who he'd have to get a Midas or something to sort of keep up with her. And even then, I don't think he would with an empowered PA. So right around now is when I want you to place a ward somewhere here. Maybe Sentry first. Or tell PA, pick up a ward, and then let's do it. In fact, let's see. You don't have one. You don't have a ward on your way. But this is the time you could leave. Or at least get ready to leave. And you have to walk, and that's fine. You have a windlace. But if you do that, you can start making space for PA. And that is how we think about what does PA want to do right now. She doesn't want to get a bunch of kills right now. It may seem like she does. Right? Who doesn't love kills on a carry? Farming is faster, especially with Empower. So, unless the kills are really easy right here and she gets to farm, fine. But a Centaur kill is kind of tough. And even though he's a little lower level, it's still kind of tough, and it's still kind of better to just let her farm. Here we have another full pull, which it's kind of okay. Lane positioning's decent for it. But you're probably only gonna get one creep denied. Let's take a look at the lane. So because the lane's so far up, you end up successfully denying 2. So 2 creeps denied. This camp dead. What if you got the melee and range creep denied, which is slightly better because it's the range creep, and this camp is still alive, which means we can just pull again. That is what half pulling does. So you deny 2 creeps here, and then boom, you do it again. And that way, instead of only being able to do a single pull every minute and killing off 1, maybe 2 creeps, I repeatedly kill 2 creeps repeatedly, multiple times a minute. Then I stack, and I can like do it as much as I want, as much as I have the opportunity for, and I get a lot of things denied from the enemy. So I think half pulling is just way better. I don't think you even need to pull here. I think you like heal her up and just walk away. I don't think you have to do that pull. Or maybe you do the pull and then head top.
There is little hope for Radiant.
But like right now, I think it's like the time to start transitioning and like stack along the way or something. Like right now, Kunkka's here, so you can't quite stack. I don't mind this like walking mid. Maybe you could have tried to stack something, but it is pretty scary with a Kunkka nearby. Maybe you could have stacked that like small camp or something. And so like this, heading back bottom, I don't like this. I think this mid timing, like, it could have been a little sooner, sure, but like, that's fine. And then heading top more, I think that's better. Now we see like SF TPing up here. I don't want him to TP up here. But that means mid is empty. And I don't know where Kunkka is, but we're getting at 8 minutes. Thinking about our goal, we want to hit 6 minutes, or level 6 at the 10-minute mark, either with the tome or, I mean, if we don't need the tome, why not, right? Mid, about to be open. Oh, look, you're turning around. Great. No! I baited myself. I don't care about this TP top. If this Witch Doctor dies, I don't care. If this SF... If together you two are able to kill Essa or Kunkka, maybe that's okay. But don't forget, this is a long TP. We can see that SF TP'd here sooner, so it's a 5-second TP. And Kunkka's really hard to kill. This guy's already used a lot of his stuff. Doesn't have his ult. This is a whole creep wave that your team is going to miss in the mid lane. Like, see, you TP here, but this is already ended. I know you may not, like... It's hard to quickly make that judgment call of, like... it's hard to make that judgment of, like, oh, can I help or not? And I have no idea what you guys are communicating in-game because I can't see it. So maybe you guys were calling top and you felt like, okay, I'll go. I mean, that's fair. It's hard to ignore your team. But I don't love it. And taking a look at your TPs, you get 3 at the start of the game, and you've used your 3. And this was reactive. Now, this is the first time I want to start pointing this out. Spent a while talking about, okay, we'll go top, we'll create pressure up here, all of that. That is proactive on your part. And it thinks about what PA wants, right? We're going to go make space up here. If we draw Rubik up here, which, by the way, he was up here anyways when we were talking about it, then it's a 1v1 versus Centaur and PA. She'll be fine. If she dies, she sucks, right? Because you've already established the lead, and he's below her. She's a very safe carry with her blink and dagger. So it's like, if she dies at this point 1v1, that's her fault versus a Centaur. It kind of depends on the matchup. But you can proactively move top and save your teleport to come bottom. This stuff happening up here made you react to them. And I want you to try to be like more proactive of like, I want to force them to TP to where I am so that I don't have to use my expensive long cooldown teleports and I don't have to miss farm like this. Like, I dictate what's happening.
Is under attack. Instructions are fortified. Radiant's bottom tower is in danger.
Did she almost die? Did she die? What the heck? We gotta watch this. Oh no, it's because Rubik came down here. Oh, 3 came down here. I totally missed that. Actually, I didn't miss this. I remember watching it. I was gonna talk about it, then I forgot it when I was talking about this other stuff. So see, let's watch the minimap, okay? SF gets this DD, decides to go top instead of like pressuring mid, which I think is a mistake. You started to head bottom, realized SF left. Now you go mid. Because they got kills earlier, now they can send this rotation bottom. So imagine if you guys were up here first, then Tide and Rubik, they're also going to be up here, which means PA won't die like this. But instead they rotate 3 down here, and they kill your PA. I see CK up here, I see Kunkka here. That means mid is completely empty. That's part of why like I don't want you to TP top. I swear I saw this before and I forgot to learn it. This is like totally free. This is free tower pressure right here free XP that like, instead of both teams missing this, you will get this and the enemy team will not, because it'll be chipping their towers. And if we look at their teleports, they used it to rotate. They went top, they went bottom. That means no one can really react to mid. And like, there's not that much for you to do top. And because Tide walked bottom, he can now TP top. He proactively went bottom, did something, and reacted to you guys now by like TPing up here. But that's okay. He's in the winning side of all this. And now you guys like can't push. You have a bunch of heroes up here. All this XP going to waste. Kunga kill pretty hard, pretty deep in the jungle. PA decides to like TP back bottom. I don't love that. I also don't love the fact that you guys are all running bottom right now. You're running bottom, I think, because Magnus has Empower. He wants to give it to PA. I don't know why you're running bottom. Possibly to place wards. Possibly because you think, okay, we have all these heroes down here. Maybe I can do something. I don't think that's the right call. I think you guys should be up top. PA doesn't need Empower to farm the lane that fast right now. What she needs is a safe spot, and she doesn't have it yet because all the towers are up. You guys have to take something. And taking this tower does not really create a safe spot for her because, I mean, if you reach Divine, you know this is the least important tower. It opens up nothing. Very little. Mid, okay, that's kind of okay. And top, way better, because now PA goes up here, and we said Magnus like will play in this area, easy Empower. And then like you take bottom because you're a good wave clearer, and you can take the dead lane. But like everyone coming to this lane, I don't think is any good. Like, what are we going to do down here? He's farming her camps. Get out of here. I don't know what you're saying in game, but I do think you should be telling your team, I want to play top. Slight note, I think you should sentry first before placing this ward. But otherwise, I like the idea of dropping a ward, give her some vision. There is... Well, at the end of the day, you do have to make a guess whether their ward's going to be like up here or here, so whatever. Getting the runes. And so see, like, you and Magnus walked top, went bottom, and like, you didn't really do anything with this. He like farmed her own, like, your own jungle. You got the rune, sure. But like, you could have gotten this rune and this rune, and PA probably could have gotten this rune. And you guys could have been pressuring top. But like right now, CK is free farming with nothing going on. And like, he's the guy we want to kind of pressure while PA also farms. I mean, they're obviously trying to do the same thing, but I think they're doing a little bit better. I want you to be careful with how you use your spells. This is really expensive. It costs a lot, and it's really good to factor in the total cost of all your spells. So you don't have your ult yet. Your goal is to get mana. So like these two spells, not the worst. But we always want to think about, do we have to cast all our stuff? Do we have to cast our spells? It's like right now, do you really need to cast this spell? Because we're getting low on mana. You're getting close to 6, and I think you have the tome on the way. Your ult is 250. 250 plus 50, 300, 390. This, you're probably going to level it up to 150. So let's say, what did I just say? 540 mana, I think. That's a lot. It's a lot compared to what you have if you want to use all your abilities. In fact, am I crazy? 300, 450? No, I'm right, 540. Right? So you're going to need to be pretty full mana to use all your spells. And this is low cooldown, which means you're going to want to cast it a couple times. So we have to be a bit careful, especially as we see them pushing in. You know, if you had a teleport, which you don't, you could be hitting 6 soon, and this would be a great time to, like, TP in, ult, get ready to cast your stuff. But you have to have enough mana. Is it that urgent to push this out? Generally, yes, especially if you're going to TP top. But we do see Centaur right here from your ward, which means a push here isn't going to do that much. It is going to force him to kind of, like, react to it a little bit. But you're not really going to get that much tower added damage out of it. And at the end of the day, we just need to get this creep wave killed off. And I think you can just auto-attack this range creep, auto-attack some of these, and that's fine. Save all your mana, and be ready to start doing things with your ultimate. Like, they're pushing the tower, and you guys have no way to respond because you're like, well, like, I don't hate that you came bottom to, like, take this dead lane space, but I still think PA should be here. I think you guys should have taken this top tower first, and now it's, like, forced you to be in this bottom lane because PA doesn't want to be here because she wants to, like, start empower jungling, but it's, like, not efficient for you guys. And it would have been way better for her to be inefficient for slightly longer while you guys get the top tower, and then she goes up there, and, like, that just would have felt a lot better. It's like you have your ult, but you don't have the mana to use it. I think this ult's a little weird. I guess in a way it's kind of in a buying time for Magnus to get here. But to me, Wyvern ult is like two scenarios. There's initiation and counter initiation. That sounds really obvious. But initiation, like, you see CK ulted next to a Rubik, you kill the Rubik. Or like you see a puck, you need to kill the puck, you ult the puck, you buy time for someone else with a stun to get up there, then they stun puck when puck can take damage, and then your team kills the puck. So that's initiation. Counter initiation is like, this guy starts with the Ravage, they all dive in on like one of the heroes, you ult, and you buy time for your heroes to get unstunned and walk away, stuff like that. So that's why this ult to me feels a little weird, because this is like pre-counter initiation. Like, they have not committed to anything yet. I want them to commit Ravage or something, and then that's counter initiation. But this is like stopping their initiation, which sometimes it's really important, but I don't know if this is one of those, because PA, like, she's fairly far back. If you would backed up now, if he wants to Ravage her, he's still quite far away. The Ravage would probably hit her, but then it wouldn't hit you, and then when they go on her, then you ult. That's counter initiation. So to me, this is like a little too soon. And it's not like initiation either, because you guys didn't like go on that. And it wasn't like you were going to get a kill or anything. Magnus wasn't quite close enough. And I think it's kind of a I don't think it's great for Tide to ult there. I think that's his own mistake, though. SF in this time died top, trying to do stuff. So, I don't know. This is like kind of okay, but does PA even want to fight right now? No, she just wants to farm. Let's take a look at net worths and stuff. This guy doing way better, even though he's not supposed to. He's supposed to be having a far worse time. PA with Empower. Even if she's not empowered yet, right? She's still supposed to farm, like, decently. I guess this guy farms decently as well. But, like, you want them to be close, and then she gets empowered, and then she skyrockets ahead. But right now, he's ahead, which I don't feel like should be happening. Although, like, Magnus Witch Doctor is a pretty bad off-lane combo, to be honest. Let's get back to you. This fight overall, is it good or bad? You got some kills, they get some kills. You know who's not in this fight right now? It's CK. CK is farming freely. Okay, PA just responded top to him. But he just went and, like, jungled or something, right? Yeah, there he is. Like, he's farming completely free while PA is involved in fights. And we don't want that to happen. And to not let that happen, we have to start first. We have to go there, and then the enemy will respond to us. God, it's even worse than I thought. 44 minutes, we're at 13, 14 minutes. Well, honestly, at this point, we'll speed up more. I'm not going to nitpick so much. I say that, but it'll still be like 2-hour video. I might have waited to deward that. I know they're in the area. It's a little bit of a risk for you to do that. So here, casting this spell, let's start thinking about the bigger idea of mana management. You still have your ultimate. Well, you got it up recently. That means we can do something. We can go be proactive. To be proactive, I have to have the resources to be proactive. We just said earlier, 540 mana to cast all your spells, and then even more to be able to use Splinter Blast multiple times, and it's only a 7-second cooldown, so we want to be able to do that. If we have wand charges, we don't have to be full mana, and generally it's not good to be full mana, but you need to be, like, a decent chunk of your mana to be able to use all your spells. Otherwise, Like, if you TP top, you don't even have enough to cast 2 spells if you want to use your ultimate. So, like, this, I think you can just walk here. If you miss this last hit, whatever. You'll get in range to get these other 2 last hits, and you got the experience from this last hit. Right now, you, like, secure 2 last hits, and you end up missing that one anyways. So, overall, you would have had the same effect, but saved the 150 mana. Here again, I know you kind of want to... I think what you want to do is push out quickly. And in that case, if you hadn't used this previous cast, this cast wouldn't be so bad, because then you'd still be at about half mana. But because you used that first one, and now you're using this one, you're, like, really low. And generally, when you have a nuke, like, you're missing some of the last hits here, right? So if you do want to use a nuke on a wave, what is better? Well, let me change it. What's easier is to do the auto attacks first and then cast the nuke, right? It's easier to get the last hit with, what is this? 340 damage burst, rather than try to do that 340 damage burst and then compete with 4 creeps to do a 66 last hit on 1 creep at a time. So we used mana, missed some last hits. Even if you got all those last hits, I don't know if it would have been the best. You do have a clarity. I am glad you got that. Especially if you know you're going to get a clarity, that makes it a little easier. Like here, your rune timing, pretty good. Another spell cast when, like, can't we just auto attack this? We see, maybe we don't even have to auto attack it. We're a little scared. But this lane's pushing anyways. We, like, stay in range to get some XP. We save our mana. Because you've now had this ult for a while. You've had smoke. But we haven't done anything. This is only a 90-second cooldown. I think you can be doing something every 90 seconds. And because of who you are, we talked about why you're good against CK. Like, you want to be where the CK is. And then, like, have 4 of you, really, while PA farms. PA is your ticket to winning this. As long as she's even in gold. So now you have to TP, respond. I don't think this is the best because, I mean, this guy's dying, right? If we look at the minimap, I know my 3 cores are here farming. It's this guy's fault for being this far up against a CK. There's nothing you can do to save this guy. And so I don't know what was happening when you decided to TP up here, but to me, this is another reactive teleport that is using up mana and money and the cooldown. And it wasn't really needed. You could stay bottom and continue to defend this. Like, now you have multiple heroes down here. Now something is going to happen down here. It's like, okay, now I am in position to react. And if my team wants to come down here, sure. But now you TP'd up here, you're not really going to get anything done here. And they're going to push this, and you aren't going to be able to respond to this. So I feel like you're getting run around by the enemy team a little bit. This ward, or this sentry, I think should be lower, by the way. It's very common to put a ward up here for the Dire and or in this area, but it's not very common at 16 minutes to put a ward in this area. So moving this bottom, or moving this lower a bit, lets you see, okay, they have a ward here, fine, you got it. But you also, if you don't get it, you have a way to check high ground, and you should do it. If you don't see a ward, you should high ground check with your spells. 90 mana is not a lot. The cooldown is kind of a lot, but to get a ward, I mean, that's kind of worth it, right? Or you have a courier come check it, sure, but you can only do that if you have the sentry lower position. And that's something I noticed earlier too. You place a lot of very typical wards, a lot on the cliffs. You like put a sentry here instead of like putting the sentry here when you have a way to check the high ground, or like have a courier come over. These kind of like small efficiency things are good. Plus warding in general, like if you only use common ward spots, it's they're always going to get dewarded, and then it's hard to make good decisions based on that. So the higher you want to go, people are going to check all those spots. So you need to start using like instead of like typical cliff, or like here, you got to start like shoving them at the very edge, places where it's weird that they're unlikely to get dewarded. Like that. That's a very typical ward spot that I don't think is that important for you guys. I think it's better for this ward to be a little further out. Even if you're trying to like react to them being aggressive, I think it's easier if this ward's further out. And like I don't even know what you guys are doing here anyways. You don't have enough heroes here. This is kind of PA's fault for jumping in when, okay, 2 heroes are showing bottom. I guess that's okay. But, like, jumping in versus CK, I think, is a really bad idea. Yeah, this guy can't even hit her when that happens. All right, 5 heroes here. Like, what is your team doing? This isn't your fault completely, because, I mean, it's not your fault. Like, you can't control your enemy, your team. But I think you should be telling your team, as a support, like, go push mid, go push bottom. So, like, here's my reaction. If I'm playing you, as this happens, watch the minimap. See 1 hero here, 2 heroes bottom. They go on CK. She is pretty much dead, right? If someone wanted to rotate, it needed to happen, like, immediately. As soon as stun comes out, people had to start rotating. We've already missed a couple seconds on that, so she's dead. Now he starts to teleport. This sucks to me, right? I see 3 heroes here. I saw 2 bottom. Tide was one of them. So now I know Tide has used teleport. There's now 4 heroes up here. He should be pushing mid because I saw what's his name? Kunkka in this area. So Kunkka can only be mid or bottom. Immediately, the team needs to start pushing mid or bottom. And you as the support can say that, like, see 4 heroes here and say, like, forget this. Go push the other lanes right now. They're all top. But instead, after the 2 of you die, your team all decides to come up fight top. Like, 3 versus 5. This sucks. This ain't gonna work. Like, what is this? All this farm, mid and bottom, is just dying. What a waste. Well, that sucked. Now, your career died in that time. That sucks. But it happens. I like Yule's here. It's good against Kunkka. Possibly precast it on Tide. Save. Or not save, but, like, catch someone out when Centaur uses ult. Like, even this ward. You know, like, why is it here? You can push it out a little further. I know it sounds minor, but it's like, really, why? What's so important about seeing here and here that, like, it's not better to see further out over here onto their side? This is, like, a minor thing, but it's also, like, kind of big. Or why not, like, push it further out? Now you can maybe see the ward. Or, like, put it down here. This is also... At my level, I guess it's more people expected. I think in Divine, I got away with this ward a lot, though. You know, but it's just like a very minor thing that, like, because it's so minor, it offends me. You know, it does not take a lot of effort to, like, push it a little further out. And if they sentry that area, they're getting it whether you put it in the most efficient spot or the slightly less efficient spot. So you might as well get the most efficient spot. Yeah, so see how you have to react again? You want it to go bottom, but your team starts something. Like, you and your team are just, like, not on the same page. And yeah, it's a pub game. It's hard to get that to happen. But as a position 5 player, I personally have taken it upon myself to make it happen. Tell them what... I mean, I'm not micromanaging them, but I'm trying to give an idea like, hey guys, let's play top, or like, let's play mid, or like, hey, I need to defend bottom. Let's not go, wait for me. You know, I need like 30 seconds to push out bottom, and then I can come top. But here you are, like, TPing reactively again. You guys got played by illusions, by the way. So, like, CK ulted. I don't know if I would have ulted the illusion. I know you can't tell if it's an illusion or not, but like, because you're not sure, I would be careful about it, and I would ult, like, maybe the Kunkka instead. That CK just wrecked you guys with illusions. You got 2 ultimates out of it. Centaur got bottom in that time. Right? That's what you were going to defend, because your team has to react to everything going on. Go back, go back, go back. Team's reacting to everything. This guy, like, I see him. I know someone's gonna have to go bottom. And yeah, it can be me. If you head bottom sooner, like, maybe you get there before you have to TP mid. But your team kind of starts something, which means Centaur is free to just chip away this tower. Look at this guy go. Boop, 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 boop. Misses it. But the point is, he just got a free tower. No one stopped him. Absolutely free. And I feel like they kind of... I guess they didn't win that fight mid. But did they lose anything? They're not quite losing this tower. Like, Kunga's dead. You saw him bottom. And then, like, what the heck? No one's hitting this tower? That's weird. Because your wards are all, like, very defensive. Okay, this one's a bit more aggressive. Because all of these have been defensive, you know, it's hard to know, like, where they are, if they're jungling on their own side or they're playing aggressive. And that's kind of why it's important to, ahead of time, try to play a bit more aggressively to get some deep wards down so it's easier to make these decisions. See, again, we have to respond. It's never our team doing, like, setting things up. It's making this middle part really tough. Alright, I think we have to commit, guys. This is just me. It's just going to be like a really long video because I already know it's like a 52-minute game. I think it's good, though. I think this will be useful for everyone. It's a high-level game. I don't even care about all this stuff, though. Like, honestly, we're going to go through it. But when I was going through this bracket, you guys are already behind. And I don't think you had to be. And so when I'm... for myself, if I'm looking at this game and this is me, I'm already saying, like, I shouldn't be in this situation. I shouldn't be. By my own actions, I could have helped us not be in this situation by being more proactive with my ult and my movements. Like, we should be even right now, and that's what I focus on. So I wouldn't even watch the rest of my own replay. But of course, like, we end up in these games all the time, so that's why I think it is worthwhile to go through, and we will look into that. But as you're trying to improve, like, I think we've already seen those two things I talked about, like how to win the lane better and how to, like, be a bit more proactive. We've already seen in 20 minutes, like, we're getting tugged around the map. We're using 90 gold each time to teleport around. It's hurting our economy a bit. And to be honest, just like when you have to be reactive, you aren't, you're usually on the losing end of those kind of things, I'll say. It's better for your team to try to be the ones to start things. This is a sort of a good position for you guys. You had a decent set of ults go off. Actually, I kind of missed yours. Let me go back and see this. How do I feel about this? I actually don't love this ultimate because this guy just RP'd, which means you're now overlapping stuns. And this is like the time to do damage. And it's not like this guy can hit himself anyways while he's stunned. So I think this ult should have been waited like a second or two. Like, this is the time when PA is supposed to be doing, like, AoE damage to these guys. Both of them, like, empowered throughout the Splinter Blast. But now no one can do damage during this ultimate. You know? And now she can't go in yet. By the time she gets to hit... like, now they're up. So I think that ult could have been a second or two later, and that would have been better. It's one reason I don't play Wyvern. It's stressful to use your ultimate. When did SF die? I guess so. Alright, kind of win this fight. Enemy team had to overextend, but this is why we're watching the whole game. Happens all the time. Don't mind me just taking off this jacket. Things are getting hot. Alright, look at the new map. We won the team fight. What should we do? Pushing bottom, that's good. Pushing mid, that's good. Someone should get top. There we go. I think he should have walked there, though. That's another support who's just like, you know, just using their teleports because they can.
Illusion.
I don't think you even need to walk away from mid right now. Unless you want to stack, which you could have right here. Double stack Ancients and Hard Camp right now. That would be really good for your empowered PA. Another spell cast. I don't know if we quite need to use it. It does let you farm safely, but keep in mind your ultimate is up, which means we can do something already. Tidehunter ult, still down. RP, down, but you've got Winter's Curse. Great setup, great damage if you fight this guy. So I think you guys should be like pushing into like a building right now as a group and trying to get something. 4 of you should be. Although I guess Kunkka did just die alone again. That kind of sucks. How'd he die? I see. See? This is like heavily overlapping sentries. So you even had your courier come deliver something to you. So this sentry, at this point of the game, kind of unlikely anyone warded on this area. So this sentry can be more over here. It lets you check this area, so this area is not getting spotted right now. And then the courier checks high ground, or you fly up high ground. And then this sentry, you know, if one sentry's here, this sentry can be pushed up further, which lets you get like this corner. It lets you get this corner. And right now you're getting like here, like, but you're missing this little chunk right there. You've got most of this spot, but you are missing this one. And that's kind of why I want to encourage you both to like be aware of your sentry placement, but also like your ward placement as well. Like that's why your ward should be at these edges, because like you're doing it, which means other people are doing it too, where they're just like putting sentries generally and not thinking about like, oh, it needs to be like right here to get this whole, you know, whole area. That's why like, oh, I put my ward here, and now when someone just puts their sentry like in this area, they miss this chunk. They didn't push it up for like far enough, or like putting one here, because one over here that gets this area, if they're not like pushing it high up enough, then they miss this area. And then that's how your ward survive, and they think that area is safe, and then you like smoke in there and kill someone. Yeah, I always lose track of the game when we pause to talk about stuff like that. So keeping an eye on the mini-map, I see several heroes bottom. We have 4 mid. Or not 4 mid, sorry. We have our 4 heroes like kind of split up in this middle-ish area, which is fine because bottom is scary right now. So I do think someone should be shoving in top. And be very careful in this area because I know the enemy's in this area. So walking mid like this, kind of a scary thing to do. And you pay the price for it. Alright, see them all bottom. What is purple doing? Should push top. So that is a mistake of PA. That is her fault. But that's still something you can say, like, they are all in mid and bottom. Please push top. You know, just in a nice way, just say it. There are people who make mistakes in the brackets. There are people who make mistakes in all brackets. So if you can see something that's obviously right, like someone should get this tower while they're all here, you should say it. Direct the team nicely. It's important to be nice. That's a future video. Her walking back here is bad, though.
Double kill.
Oh, God, you're not even going to get this tower, are you? 4K behind, this tower puts you back at like 3 point whatever K. Oh, maybe your creeps will get it. Creeps, please. Right, the tower should just be dead right now, though. What's happened here? So you're still dead right now. Walk out to farm the single creep. Oof. Yeah, you know, like this stuff, not needed. I get it. She's making some mistakes here, but I will say, as a support player, it's easier to see core mistakes than it is to see support mistakes. Support mistakes are more vague, but like, it's just harder to judge that kind of stuff. Like a core that overextends and dies, like that's very obvious. A support that like doesn't go to a certain wave to enable your core to go somewhere else, like that's very not obvious. So I wouldn't focus on like blaming cores or anything like that, but also it's just your PA is not going to perform better for that. And this is still a competitive game, so you are not helping yourself doing stuff like that. All going to Roche. Should push mid and bottom. It's kind of happening. 3 of you going to Roche. I mean, you guys do have good Roche. I think you could have gone here with 4 heroes and contested this. Looks like Magnus is now on his way. I think it probably would have been safer for you to approach from a slightly higher angle. Nice Aegis steal. Good ult. Your team should just get out right now. Don't even try to fight. And I think that probably needed to be said ahead of time. So this is a good escape. Nice Aegis steal, good escape, all good. Even Centaur knows it. I know you're typing right now. You're not looking at what your hero is doing. And this, I'm gonna chastise you for. This is not good. Same as tipping your own carry. 2 reasons. One, I mean, first, I'll give it to you. That was a great play. But then, first, it's not good to call people retarded, even as an insult. I think there's some stuff that you can't control. There's nothing wrong with being mentally retarded. No one has control of that. So using it as an insult is pretty offensive, I think, and hurtful to those people. You know, jumping in to farm a single creep, that makes you a dumbass. That is a conscious decision that person made. You can flame that. You know, I won't, but I think they're dumb, right? But I'm not going to tell them. I understand if other people get upset and they're going to flame, you know, call someone out. Say, like, that was a dumb decision to farm. Sure. Because that was something they chose to do. But I don't like things like using, like, retarded or gay as insults because I don't think it's fair. But then, too, it's definitely not helping your case. Right? You just stole Aegis. This is already a momentum swing for you guys. And then you're going to call this PA out. She's going to be... I don't know. Maybe she's being toxic in team chat. I can't see it. Right? But there's like 2 cases. If she's being toxic, then what you're saying probably doesn't really matter, but it is creating a worse environment for your team, and they're not going to play as well. And that is a future video. But maybe she is trying her best, and she's having a bad time, and you're going to shit on her. That's not going to make her play better. So if you want to win, it's directly in your favor to not say those kind of things or to insult anyone on your team. This is another like common warding spot that they're just going to come in. I expect them to deward very soon. And it kind of puts you a little too far out. Like this, it's kind of okay, but I also think like you should probably just be further back, right? They are pretty strong right now. I don't care that much about this T2. I want SF to push bottom as fast as I can, and I want you guys to be like back here and like throwing out Splinter Blast safely from like this edge or something, because this is the safest. Like, what side's safer, this side or this side? It's this side. So if you stand over here, Splinter Blast, and then like run away, you're just stalling them out a little bit while SF tries to go and like get this tier 2 uncontested, because they're going to bring every hero for this push. Their plan is to get this and then possibly go high ground. And so if SF forces one person to back off, these guys are all likely to leave as well. So you don't need to fight them here. At this point, this tier 2 does not matter. So being up here this far is just asking for trouble. I think you have an invisible X marks on you. And because of that, like, they're able to target you. You're up a little too far. SF forced to come back. Right? He wanted to split push. Actually, it looks like Centaur's down here anyways. I don't know what they're doing. So actually, this is good for you. I don't know this. Let's go back again, though. This is good. You know this is the real one because he's BKB'd. Does this just control the illusion? I don't know if it's worthwhile. Especially because you have Aegis. If you die here, it's not like a huge deal, and then you can ult afterwards after everyone like comes in. Buying back. I think that's okay. Alright, want a team fight? What do we do? Take mid, but as the position 5, I can't see your ward stocks. I wish you had some observers right now. Maybe they're on the way. No, that's not your courier. If you had wards right now, where can you play? It's usually you can play on your own half of the map. Even when you've lost towers, this is the easiest to get to. It's really hard to get to their half of the map, and you just killed a bunch of them. So this is like one of the few times it's safe to like go do this. So I do wish you were doing that. And you know, this isn't pushing too heavily. No heroes down here, so it's unlikely that you're gonna take a lot of tower damage. I don't think you need to be here right now. But at the same time, it's like also not bad to like defend this area, so that one of your cores doesn't feel the need to come down here. But I actually think this bottom lane is safe for like another however long, like 2 minutes. Like you'll take a bit of chip damage, but by the time they respawn and then they like push bottom all the way here, like this bottom lane will be okay. So you have time to like be on their half of the map, and you're not using that. And instead, like, so here, sentry on the cliff instead of like putting it here, and then you're also putting a very defensive ward. I know you guys are behind, but this is your time to like place an aggressive ward when they're dead, and that will help you see when they're just farming in their own jungle, and that lets you push out. You know, in a way, aggressive deep wards are also defensive when you know where they are. And when they're going to smoke, they're going to start on their half and then smoke to your half. And that starts like over here. So seeing that kind of stuff is really good. And this kind of stuff is, I don't know, we just have like very defensive wards. And all of them are defensive. It's good to have like a couple. By the time you like pick up the aggressive wards, it's like too late to go be aggressive, you know? This ward should be further out. For one, I don't think lane wards are like, well, they're okay. But this lane ward is not that useful, I think, because, how do I say this? For one, Roshan's top. And it's a little nicer to play on this top half of the map because that's where our ancient camps are, and then that's where their jungle is. So it's a little nicer to be up here. So a lane ward in the top half, I think, is a little better than a lane ward on the bottom half. But this is also a little too close to this cliff, and it's very common to check this cliff for wards. So like I'm glad you're not using this cliff ward because I don't think you need this cliff ward either. But if you still want vision in this area, then I think this needs to be like lower down or over here, because if they have a sentry up here, then I think this will get, I think it's going to catch it. And so this kind of goes back to like putting a bit more thought into the ever so slight like placement of your wards, because it very much matters at this level. Between this ward surviving like 6 minutes and okay, like I said it's not that great, but yeah, maybe you see some people run through here. That requires the ward to stay alive. And if there's one up there, I don't think it will. And you didn't check up there either, which this sentry, well, at the end of the day, the sentry does have to guess. Okay, so you do end up seeing someone with this ward, so it's kind of working out. Oh, everyone's going in. Ditch that. Get out, go push mid. Looks like they did get your ward. Hey, look at that. So now this is a time where like I think it's fine to use spells because you want to quickly push things out, but you definitely don't want to like stay too long. This guy has a silver edge though, right? Yeah, you need to be carrying dust. Dust slows, dust reveals. It's very important to have detection, I think. I know some pros just use like sentries, but I think, I don't know, I think it's good to have dust as well. I think earlier you were using a Grove Bow. I guess that's okay, but your team doesn't have that much magic damage, so I don't think it's that important. I kind of like the I'm assuming someone was using Ring of Aquila, because that's really good. Trusty Shovel, also pretty solid. You're taking the Telescope now. I would say that's good. Would I give it to anyone else? No, yeah, I think you should carry this and maybe Witch Doctor can carry Ring of Aquila for the support aura for the team. I guess it's okay for him to use this too, but then like someone should carry this, I think. It's 2 armor, guys. For your items, you're at Blink. I think Blink's fine. I think Medallion into Solar Crest is also pretty solid. But I like the Blink because he's got a big AoE, so if you can stay further back and then counter-initiate, kind of like we talked about how initiation or counter-initiation, Blink is really good for that. So don't mind you doing that either. Yeah, instead of walking up this way, I would have started from the trees. I think that's better. What you're doing right now is good, though. Hiding in the trees, waiting to see if they're going to show on the map. I don't know why we can see their jungle right now, or their base. All this is good. And now you have the mana to, like, spam this out. Like, you see how much mana regen you have now with the Yules. That's good. I still think you should still be in the trees right now. This is a XP that just died and no one got. A full wave. Push you closer to 18. Good deny on the double damage, though. Another, like, very typical ward, though. Again, on the cliff. And in fact, if I'm the enemy and I'm playing in this area, I come drop a center here, and I check both high grounds. Actually, I guess as them, it's harder to do. Kunkka can do it with his Q, but maybe call a courier over. But this is like 2 wards that can be dewarded by a single sentry. So it's not great to use both of those spots at the same time, not to mention that they overlap heavily. And they're just like, I think every ward we've had has been really defensive. But we saw at least one opportunity to place aggressive wards that we talked about earlier. Let's go back to just your vision. So right now, instead of placing that ward, we said you could have been bottom. The enemy would have gotten that double damage, though, so maybe it's fine. Let's go to your perspective. Yeah, I don't know what your team's doing right there. That's kind of bad. I guess they Centaur ulted. But then your teammates are also BKB'd, so this is like one of their first BKB uses as well. Yeah, so it kind of sucks to just have to sit around for quite a while. But then I guess they would have just ran away anyway, so I guess it's kind of okay. Yeah, it looks like it's working out. Yeah, you can't go in too close. We know we didn't get CK. Right here, I think you should stay where you are. I don't think you should walk up this way. I think you should, if you want to chase this guy, I think you should be walking this way. This is a danger zone, so we need to treat it with respect. And so, like, chasing Tide could have gone this way or, like, this way, and this way is safer. That also would have kept you further away from this guy. Your backline support.
Double kill.
Yeah, the Medallion's really good. The Solar Crest, to put more reasoning into that, is because you are kind of playing a 4 Protect 1 comp. Even though you have SF, when you have a Magnus, you're just putting a lot of power into the PA, and that's just, that like is the game plan. And if we look at the enemy, they're actually doing a really good job of this. They are also very similar, playing a 4 Protect 1 comp. And what do we have? We've got teamfight item, teamfight item. What's this guy got? Solar Crest, Halberd, great. This is really next level from Kunkka, actually. I really like his item build. I think not a lot of mid players would do this. But he's building a Solar Crest to empower his CK. He knows CK will do all the damage as long as CK is alive. And CK is doing really well. But you guys are not so different. Empower gives more damage and cleave to PA. And with that damage, she can deal with a CK if you guys provide the control. But what do we have? Nope. These are really bad items. Her items are like okay. She's poor, but the items are okay. Yours are okay. Because of your hero. SF, also personal hero. So like your team's just got no team fight. I don't think that's completely your fault. I kind of think Magnus or Witch Doctor, like Witch Doctor 4 is just not very, I'm not a huge fan of. One of them should have some like team fight items, but like you getting Medallion or a Solar Crest is also not bad. So that's kind of why I'm thinking about it. Items like Vlad's, aura items, like the enemy team has several, and you guys don't. That's part of why this game feels hard. It's just like, don't have these team fight items. Probably gonna lose top here. Walk up anyways. I don't know about this. Probably should have just lost top. Kind of surprised they backed off. I think they could have gotten some. It works in your favor, though. I would just buy out the blink. I don't think you have buyback for a while. I think a blink... I can hear them doing Roche, but I also was going to say, like, Roche is soon now, so you kind of need... Like, you're not going to have buyback to join the Roche fight, so you might as well just come at Roche full power, and that includes the blink. I think that probably should have happened. Another, like, very... defensive ward, and they're like about to sweep through this area. You know, you can't protect these wards, which means they need to be uncommon, right? This is any sentry in this area is going to get this ward, and if you can defend this ward, that's fine. But if you can't defend this ward, then you need to be using like weird spots to hope it survives, because the enemy's not going to like place a crazy amount of sentries in your half. They're just going to like check the major spots, and you need vision at this point of the game to play. And this guy keeps running around with detection. Like, someone should probably buy a gem or half more sentries and or at least dust. Get the runes, good. Enemies probably... Oh, yeah, there they are. Slow down. Alright. So I like this ult a lot more. You see how they, like... So we RP'd and all that, and you are not ulting here. So now he's able to get all this off. I mean, that's obvious. But that's kind of the difference. Why I felt conflicted about the others. And I know you didn't have like a huge amount of choice, because like Centaur was ulting at one time. Another time I think you did have slightly more choice. But this one's much more clear cut why it's so great. You're using this to control two heroes in the back. Like first your team uses RP, everyone gets to make great use of it. Then RP's over. The heroes have been split up. You're controlling two heroes in the back while the other two heroes are getting dealt with. I think this is like a fantastic approach on a team fight. And I know it's really hard to organize that in a pub game, but sometimes it can be done. Be like, I'm going to wait for RP before I use my ult. Something as simple as that can set the priority order of spells. So he knows like, oh, I should wait for that. Or you can say, I'll go first. I have a blink. I have this. Like, I'll go... This will be my initiation setup. I don't care if I ult CK, so long as I'm grabbing 5 heroes or like, you know, 3 or whatever. And then the Magnus RP, that will be our chance to like actually get kills with SF ult and the others. But using it as a control for the back, I think is great too. See, imagine if she had more armor. More armor, more attack speed. Maybe she didn't die there. That was pretty close. Yeah, I don't know what this is. This is why you're so good this game, and that's why I wanted you to like be in his lane. Okay, PA has decided to buy back. And again, just imagine if she's like got a bit more power, if she's like armored up a bit. Die back, not great. But I also feel like not 100% her fault. Like no one on her team has built to empower her, even though PA is a late game hero. Or she can be anyways. And I think it would have helped her to play her game. Like, CK is having a great time. He's got so much auras and medallion. Like, no wonder why he looks better. He had a better start, and people are playing around him. You know, so even though we've seen her do some questionable items, like, see, this guy also, very common hill spot. Though they didn't think they were going to lose. And look, that one's a really sneaky one in this bottom corner on your minimap there. That's a really nice one. I think the game is reaching a point where you guys are like actually okay. I know that sounds weird because you guys are like lost all your towers and everything. But the longer the game goes, Empower PA is strong. And I think that's why you felt like you won this game, but like it was hard to get there. And it's like, it was supposed to be a win. Like your lineup, I think, is better than theirs. I mean, they have like a position 5 tied, and they have like, you guys have good heroes versus their heroes. But then you guys like didn't build items to like help you with that, and you started off on a bad foot. So like that's why I think your game felt tough. But like the longer it goes on, the more likely you are to get back to that original plan of like, oh, actually we were supposed to just win late. Yeah, that's good. Like ping her, like don't be there, let's get out. That's good. See 4 of them top, 5 of them top, so someone should be pushing bottom. You guys just stay high ground. Need a sentry here. They have invis. Really need a sentry there. I think what's this clarity doing here? Against invis heroes, it's really important to always have detection ready to go. They've all been missing for a while now. All right, couple showing bottom. We can push out top. Just like you guys are doing. And so like right now, do you have buyback? You do. So one thing you can do, you can push top with SF. Don't show. But like hide in the trees, like maybe on this side. And when SF feels too scared and he has to go back, now you wait. And now it kind of is okay for you to be... Okay, well, it's not the best because you're kind of the safest D pusher with your long range Splinter Blast. But because you have buyback and you can risk your life, it's kind of okay to like be in the trees, and when SF gets forced away, you keep waiting here. When it pushes up further, then you like kind of cut a wave when more people show. But being in your base to defend preemptively is like also fine. Oops. Let's slow down. I want your perspective. Sorry this one's so long, guys. Even though I know you guys like long videos too. Some of you don't. I don't mind this initiation if your team like communicated a bit on it. Oh, just missed the Conka. That's too bad. But this is really good. This is another great spell usage. You caught 2 of the most important heroes and set up RP. Yep, and I think this is good. Coming to defend mid because your team will clean up the rest of that. Why are they backing up though? Tell your team. We just won. Pick an objective. I don't care. I don't really care where you guys go. Top? Bottom? We're all bottom. Why not go bottom? Let's get this outpost. Push bottom. Look at their health. Everyone's healthy. Everyone's full mana. Except this guy a little bit lacking on mana. Who cares? Why are they looking back? Go forward. Go forward. Go farm. There are things you can do at any time in the game. Walking to your own fountain is one of those. There are some things you can only do some of the time. Specifically, going into the enemy's half of the map at this point of the game. Can only do that when they're dead. Let's go. Let's go. You know, SF is all the way here, right? Everyone else could be with him right now. There's no reason this guy is completely alone. It should be like 4 heroes here. Yeah, this guy's kind of like risking his life a little bit. I mean, these 2 heroes, unlikely to kill him. But when they respawn, could be. Right now, you know Roshan's coming up soon. I've kind of lost track of the Rosh time while moving everywhere. Oh, we can see it here. Yeah, so Roshan is coming up soonish. Great time to have some aggressive wards. They are all dead. You're safe to be up here. Wards, you know? Like, SF right now is pushing both lanes by himself. Like, what is everyone else doing? And that includes, like, you saying, like, what can be happening. You kind of are pushing some lanes, so, like, not totally your fault. And I also think, like, your job right now is to be warding while your teammates push. But I think you should say that, like, guys, push. SF right now has solo pushed bottom and top, while everyone else has, like, done nothing. And, like, you don't have wards to, like, place right now either, which is really unfortunate. Like, right now, I think a ward over here would be great. You see people, this is probably around the, they smoke either on their half or in here when they want to, like, go into this half. A ward over here would be really nice. Walking out here, pretty scary. Centaur, Tide, Rubik, they could probably kill you. And look at your team. They're not that close to help you. So walking that close, pretty scary. So we have full control of this area, but we have no wards. That's why it's good not to, like, place all your wards immediately. I don't know if you placed the one over there. Let's slow down a little bit. But that's why it's good to, like, hold some wards. You don't always have to have them placed, so that if an opportunity comes in, this is kind of why it was bad. Like, you walked a little further out. your positioning was still safer than her positioning, but for the same logic, that's why it's dangerous to approach alone. But to finish the point about wards, this is why it's good to like hold on to a couple so that who knows, like, oh, the enemy happens to throw. Now we have a chance to go place deep wards. But if you place them all defensively, like immediately as soon as you get the wards, you don't get that opportunity. And right now we see like we killed them all, and all we have are extremely defensive wards. We have not placed anything on their half. Yeah, this is probably fine. The rest of the team is not here. Yeah, worked out great. Should be a win. I don't know who's making this call. I don't know why you guys are going for the win right now. I think I mean I said this should be a win. I didn't mean like right now. I meant we should mega them here, or like get 2 sets of racks, get the Roshan, and then finish. This fight should set us up to win. That is what I meant. You guys don't know their buyback status. Like, none of them have used buybacks. So there's no reason that all 4 of them cannot buy back right now. And you guys used all your spells. They used theirs, but like it's still a pretty close game, and you guys are low health, or at least some of you are, and they are in their base. So who has the advantage? They do. So I'm not quite sure why you guys decided to like go for the win right here, but I think it's no good. I think you guys should just get these 2 sets right here, mid and top. And like right now, yeah, you're like typing. I think you're feeling it. Like you think you've won. You haven't won until you've won. So I would not type at all. Type in the end lobby. That's what that's there for. It's like while you're typing here, PA was at half health. You should be up here tanking. If your team really needs to win here for whatever reason, you should be up here tanking both these hits and using I don't even know what this is called, cold embrace on yourself, and being immune and healing. Like, why is she tanking this damage if you're trying to end quickly? Because what if they do buy back and they fight and she's now low health? Like, she's lost a 1/4 of her health. Now she gets burst. Like, she's entering this fight with 600 health when really she should be at like at least half, or maybe you even heal her earlier instead of typing. And like now you guys are like diving on their side. Never encourage this. Always tell your team to just hit buildings. Like now she is almost killed herself. Will she die? Maybe. You guys get chased out by 3 heroes. You try to turn around, but this is like super awkward. Now he buys back. So the 5 of you were chased out by 3 heroes, and you didn't really get anything for it. And now even Witch Doctor might die. Witch Doctor will die. You're gonna kill her. Like, look at the guy. He's amplified. Now we get PA. So this was overconfidence for sure. You guys should have just gotten this racks and then left. Roshan a bit on the long timer. So you guys got some buybacks, but I don't know. I think you could have gotten 2 sets of racks, and I think I would have preferred that. Because don't forget, I think you guys are supposed to win late game. So there's no need to rush a victory. That's why I think you should just get the racks. If you're like the early game lineup, like you're like Ursa versus Medusa, and there's like no reason you should have won a fight up here, then it's like, oh shit, we gotta win right now. But that's not the case. So we don't have to rush for the win right here. And rushing for the win opens up, what we just saw, the chance to throw a bit. And now we've thrown, they might get Roshan. Looks like it is going to respawn here. Does Tide have a gem? No, that just means they have a sentry in this area. Okay. But another very defensive ward. Let's go back. I mean, I've used this one too. The problem with putting a sentry here and expecting this to work is that it's very easy to put sentries over here. So if you want to put a ward out here to spot them, think about where they're going to position when they push this high ground. They're likely to put a sentry like right here, or like in this edge. And if they put it here, this one's probably safe, but it's like kind of close, And if they put it further back, they definitely would get it. but their sentry is likely to go here if they siege this high ground. So putting it a little further out, like even up here. I'd err on the left side because, like we said, you can put sentries in the trees and it's very hard to check that. So maybe somewhere on the left side, like back here. Or then like taking a bet, like, okay, they're gonna place it mid, so let me let me put the ward over on this side. Or like if they put their sentry here, like you take a guess and put it here. Maybe you get dewarded, maybe you don't. But where are they gonna position, right? CK should hit this, and then they should probably like pick a side. This is what people should do. You should pick a side to stand on, and your team should be on that side. And so if you put the ward here and they don't deward it, your team should position on this side because you have vision here, so you know they're not about to jump you. Whereas if you position here blindly, then like Rubik lifts someone over or something like that, or like Tide blinks in and ults. So like usually picking one side or the other is a little better than putting something like this. Although you do have this ward, so maybe picking this side over here would be better. Somewhere like over here a bit. Having said that, I like the idea. Putting this here because you know you're about to have to play defensively. I think that's good. So they're scared. Or bad. They should have been pushing together, I think, because 3 of you are dead. So this is what you're great at. Look at that. Long-range defense. Getting Roshan. Roshan doesn't matter that much at this point, especially because CK took it. He's not a great Aegis hero because of his illusions if they all get killed off. Doesn't matter that much. And if you guys are really strong right now, like this guy should not walk up here. And you, when you Ice Blast, you can come out here to Ice Blast, and then you should back off again. Right? At this phase of the game, does this tower protect you if you're by yourself? It does not. It's not like 2 minutes into the game where this tower protects you from like 4 heroes diving you because they're scared of the tower. And in fact, that it doesn't even protect you from 4. It protects you from like 1 or 2 heroes. At this stage of the game, if CK wants to kill you under these 2 towers and no one's here to help you, he will kill you under these 2 towers. So don't get lulled into a false sense of security like, oh, I'm at the edge of my high ground under this tower. I'm safe. CK doesn't care. CK will kill you. So when you have to use your spells to like push it out, but then, you know, back up again. Just right here. Your smoke hasn't broken. You should be screaming to your team, God, please, this is an illusion. Cancel that ultimate. Even though he BKB'd, that sucks, but at least he won't use his ultimate. Sure showed up that illusion. I think it also should have been like somewhat obvious though. Like if you guys back up, like look where you guys are positioned right now. Back up a little further. Okay, we see Centaur top. What are the odds this team smokes or does anything without all 5 of their team right now? Because they just bought back. Yeah, they got Aegis, but they should be pretty scared right now. We see him top, so it's unlikely that Tide is going to be here alone, especially if he had to, like, how does he walk through here? Right? Is this not, like, the weirdest movement? Only Tide shows through here? I know this isn't, like, something you can control, but I think your team probably should have known that was an illusion. And if you can let your team know that that it's an illusion, then all the better. Sentry? Oh no, that was a ward you placed. I do think the sentry can be like in the trees a little bit maybe. Yeah, CK's kind of throwing here a little bit. Slow down, the whole team fight's going on. I think this is a solid ult to stop him from ravaging and to control CK a little bit. Okay, probably should have bought back a little sooner. This is kind of going well. I don't think you should chase this Rubik. CK is respawning and Tide or Kunkka is alive right here. I don't really care about this guy. CK bought back earlier. This is really important, and Kunkka bought back too. I don't know if Rubik did. Yeah, Rubik didn't. So like he's the least important kill, even though he doesn't have gold and like all that. Like what's PA doing right now? You need to be there to help her. Your Cold Embrace pretty much saves her from CK and Kunkka. You know, prioritize that. In this case, it looks like it's fine. Could have been not fine, though. Shadow Blades. I don't know if you didn't hear that. Oh, maybe we're going to replay. I think usually you hear this noise, though. if they Shadow Blade near you. I hear it a lot in games. For one, this is where Dust is really good. If you turn that corner and you lose sight of him, even if you didn't hear Shadow Blade, you know that he has one. I would just use Dust. Or place your sentry, sure. But like, what if he walks out of the sentry? Then it's like, that sucks. That's why having both is really important. And if you're a really tryhard, I don't play with music, and I don't. If I listen to music, it's really quietly. But if I'm tryharding, I don't listen to music, so I can hear all the game sounds in Dota. They're really well designed, and they give you information like that. So if you're a super tryhard, try that out. But you know this guy went invis in here, and he either TP'd out or he's just hiding here. So I don't think you should be here by yourself. And he ends up getting the kill. And that didn't need to happen. I think your team should just be together, pushing down a lane. I know you were trying to push out top, but like when you lose CK like that, there's no guarantee he TP'd home. So you have to be really careful. I think your team should have just walked top, though. Break high ground with the creeps in mid and then go top. You're buying an Aeon disc right now. I don't hate it because your job is to try to land an ult. But at the same time, I do think a Solar Crest would have been really good. Oh, I'm sorry, you're buying a Lotus Orb. Oh, no, you're switching. Lotus is okay. I do like the medallion, the Solar Crest more. It's cheaper, gives you stats, and it just boosts her damage potential a lot. Either using it on her or using it against the enemy. Like, you have a Deso, you have an SF Aura, like, more minus armor is great. Let's take a look at their, like, armors. This guy only has 14 armor, 16 armor. That's wild, right? So, like, Deso plus Corrupt plus, like, Solar Crest. This guy has negative armor. 16, kind of high. Like, everyone's around 20 armor. Imagine Solar Crest plus, what is this? 9, 16, and then, where is Solar Crest? What did I say? 16? 24. Your team would have potentially negative 24 armor. Is that not bonkers? This guy literally takes pure damage from right clicks. From a critting empowered PA. More than pure damage. It's nuts. Everyone would take... Okay, not tied, but everyone else would reduce their armor to nothing. Or you leave their armor at like 8, and then you just boost PA's attack speed and boost her armor. Like, that works too. But I just think it's really good right now. Guy's going out of position here a bit. Might have thrown. Just kidding, I know the results of this game. Got Solar Crest. They're kind of split up in your half of the map. That's on their... let's see. Okay, and Disc saving your life. At the same time, I don't think you need to like walk up when you have like a blank. Almost got the ult off before you died. Like, why is this fight so close, right? When it's like 5 versus 4? It's kind of bad on their part. This is like classic Divine. No racks still taken. Centaur's trying his best top. Everyone always looks for kills. Just get the buildings. You don't win by having the most kills in Dota. Alright, this is pretty good. Shouldn't have been good, but here we are. Alright, forget that guy. Don't think we're gonna catch him. Just run down mid. Force 2 buybacks or get all the racks. Or at least 2 sets of racks. I mean, they don't deal with illusions, or they don't deal with super mega creeps, whatever, that well. CK's not a wave clearer kind of hero. Get me out of here. Nice. Good stuff. Carrying 1 sentry, you know? We need more detection, guys. The team needs more detection. Gems and dust and all that jazz. Let's go back. I think this might be the last fight we see.
Dire's courier has been killed. One side's misstep is the other's punishment.
Alright, we gotta see what he's doing. Don't think this is the ult. I know you're trying to like save this guy, but his ult just went off, so definitely not the time, I think. They're look at all this like BKB ult. They're not taking any damage at this time. And now he gets the BKB off, so probably not the ultimate. I know it was close though. You were trying to save SF. This guy like higher than everyone. Is this a bug? No, it's definitely a bug. This fight's really scattered, and I feel like I'm only seeing my own team. I think you gotta move your camera more. Like right now, okay, I can see a lot of stuff. Now, like there's a fight going up there. I can't quite see what's happening. You know, I think you gotta like move your camera a little bit more. To make good decisions, we gotta get good information. It's kind of hard to see right now. All right, this should be a win. Go get Rax. What's this guy doing here? Okay. This is definitely a win now? Oh, look at the time on left. It's definitely the win, right? Holy crap, guys. Just get the Rax. Why is he going for the T4s again? I guess we're doing it. I mean, I guess it's fine. With the CK's buyback down, I kind of do know you guys can win. But after how close this game is, I would have thought you guys would have like played it a bit safer and like get the Rax or something. Pretty much if I know I'll win later, I don't need to win now, is the philosophy. Though it's also good to have like a killer instinct, I guess. Okay, summary time. In case those of you don't want to watch like a 2-hour video. I think you're guys, I legit thought this was Wyvern, like a really chonky Wyvern. Just try half pulls. Try them out. Half pull at 117 or X17, and then stack at the minute mark, and then you can do whatever you want after that. So at 117, so literally the first chance you get, 117, half pull. Stack at 2 minutes. From there, you can do whatever you want. I still recommend some good half pulls. But identifying what kind of pull you can do, that'll be something we didn't fully cover here. But like we said, will cover soon enough. But I think you can make that judgment yourself. Because you are Divine 3. So I think, other than that in your lane, I think your laning was fine. So just try the half pulls and just see how that feels to you. Because I think it will feel good. Unless you only get kobold camps, then that's like too bad. And then try to be a bit more proactive. Like, once you've won your laning stage, and I'm confident you can, I feel like you already, I think you already won this lane, right? Yeah, so you already won this lane. I think part of it was like some of their mistakes that we talked about. But I do think that you clearly know your heroes well enough, and I think you have the mechanics to win the lanes. And if you work in half pulls, then I think you should like crush these lanes in the Divine bracket. Your support, the reason half pulls are so good is because it doesn't matter if your carry is good or not. They can just do whatever they want, and the half pull like balances out the wave for them. Just the way that it denies creeps, or it has the creeps enter 2 at a time. And either of those situations keeps the lane in your favor. And most carries at this level can deal with that. So they don't need to know like how to play at a higher level. So that's good for you. And then once you've crushed your lane, identify that and then get out of there. Like, leave a ward for her and go do something else. Be proactive. More with your like ult timings. Like, there were some times when your ults were off cooldown. Like, you are a hero that can defend lanes, but the ideal pattern is for you to play aggressively, use your ult, get some kills, get some stuff done, and then while you're waiting for your cooldowns, then you go play defensively. But what we saw is like you playing defensively while you had your ult, and then you're like forced to rotate by the enemy team, and that's kind of like, that's the enemy team playing the way they want to, and you responding to that. But you want to play the game you want to and make them react. And those are like, that's the overarching goal of like the two things I want you to focus on from this 2-hour video. Just those two things. Sounds simple. I think I sort of say a similar thing to like every level, but like I really think that is the essence of playing hard support. Itemization was mostly fine. I do think the Solar Crest is pretty good here, but like these are all Winter Wyvern items. This is a Winter Wyvern skill build, you know, so I'm not like that worried about it. I think that part's fine. You could probably do a couple more stacks. Wyvern is a hero pretty good at it, and especially when you have a Magnus and PA and an SF even. These are all heroes that want stacks, so Wyvern's pretty good at it. Then buy some dust, man. They had a Shadow Blade. You got to carry some dust. I think it slows the guy and guarantees the reveal if he walks out of the sentry range. And if he does and he purges it with BKB, then you got a sentry. I think it's really important to have both. Losing some kills with no detection is pretty painful. Like, there's that one time CK got away and then he killed you. I think that could have been avoided with dust. And then, like, maybe the game's a little easier from there. Yeah. That seems like a short summary for a 2-hour video, but that's really it. Honestly, I think if you just try half pulls, that'll probably get you to Divine. I don't even know if you need to be proactive. I think you just win the lanes hard enough with getting things denied. Creeps are worth a lot. Let me emphasize that. Creeps are worth a ton. And if you deny them completely out of the enemy's experience range, you're gonna win when you have a level and gold advantage. More times than you don't. So, you know. Okay. Thanks for watching a really long one, guys. I hope that was helpful. This is... look at that! Did you rank up in the time we were doing this? I swear this was Divine 3 when we started. Congratulations. 2 more. Divine 5 and Immortal. Very close. You got this. I believe in you. Oh, and don't tilt. That's the last thing. Don't maul at your teammates. I promise that'll help too. 3 things. Win your lane. Go be proactive. Don't maul. All right. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.